Hey, Tim.
Hey, Greg.
How you doing?
Awesome.
Wait, really?
It couldn't be better.
Awesome. That's what we like to hear here.
21 degrees. Oh, no, it's up to 26 degrees.
Nice. Nice. So glad I live here.
Sunny Pennsylvania.
Even though, with all the, we're an upbeat podcast, but with all the weather tragedies happening around the world, there are a lot of times where I don't want to live here. But you know what? There's earthquakes, there's tornadoes, there's fire. And being here in the great Northeast, we don't get much of that.
Yeah, we're pretty fortunate from that standpoint, definitely.
So if I got to bundle up for a few months, I guess it's the good
Yeah, not a bad trade-off.
Yeah.
So anything else happening right now?
Not much.
No?
Yeah,
No?
just living the dream.
Yeah, we're getting, I know we were kind of in that middle part of the holidays, and now we're kind of in that middle part of, January where it's still pretty cold. It's starting to get a little bit lighter as the days get a little longer.
Yeah.
But I'm still, I got my sights set on April, May.
Yes, totally. These are I think, January and February are just the worst months.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. But yesterday I was like, okay, our cars are really covered in salt. I'm going to wash the cars.
Yeah.
And I started when it was still light out. It was dark when I finished, and the spray from the hose was actually freezing on the car.
Yeah.
Before I could get the soap off, and I'm like, I think I could go for some warmer weather right now. I think I'm done with this.
Or just run it through a $10 car wash.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's just easier for me.
I was just being cheap.
Yeah. Well, I listen. There's Christmas bills to pay.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So here we are.
Yeah. I think we're talking about all things May of 1980.
May of 1980.
Really getting in the Wayback Machine.
Yeah.
Because we were barely, I wasn't even 5 years old yet.
Yeah, that's a 45-year
Ouch.
Jump back in time.
Ouch.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's funny, too, because certain things in the 80s, you say this date in the 80s,
mm-hmm.
and I still kind of live in this world where I'm like, that's only a couple years ago. Not that long ago.
Yeah.
A 1989 vehicle is relatively new.
Sure. I can get that.
No, it's not. So what was going on in May of 1980?
There's a lot going on in May of 1980.
All right, tell me about it, Greg.
Not really, but on May 2nd, Pink Floyd's Another Brick in the Wall Part 2 was banned in South Africa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why?
The overt... No, I'm not going to say that. Okay. No, We Don't Need No Education, I believe, is the thing, and I think there was some underlying anti-racial, anti-racism, at least in the movie. I'm not sure the whole reason. I'm not going to look it up.
Yeah. When I said why, I was not expecting you to actually have legit knowledge about it. So
yeah, there was some. I think it's definitely, we're not the We Don't Need No Education. I think it was supposed to be anti-educational, but I know that the movie, there's also some scenes where it's the leader of the protagonist of the movie, Pink is his name. He's a rock guitarist, but he goes crazy, and he starts becoming a neo-Nazi.
Oh, wow.
In the film. Yeah. And I don't know if that also played into the song. Maybe it's more about the movie than it is about the song. Yeah. So. Well,
in our list of things that get our 80s cards revoked and things like that, I've never seen The Wall.
I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan, and the movie is disturbing, and it's worth watching because it's very interesting. It's got all this stuff going on, but it's also very sad.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll put that on a maybe list.
Yeah, I would put that on the maybe list.
All right, so coming back to the events of May of 1980, we had May 3rd, the Giants' first baseman, Willie McCovey, hits his 521st and final home run.
All right. Willie McCovey.
Yeah. I was just 5, so I don't really remember that event happening.
No, I know the name because I'm kind of a baseball nerd, but I don't know much about that. On May 4th, this is interesting, and if I don't recall the last time this happening, but the Dodgers bat out of order against the Phillies in the first inning. Now that's a mess up.
Yeah. That's funny.
Oh, you're up? No, I'm up. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oops.
So on May 7th, I'm going to probably mess up this name as well. This is Paul Geidel. Does that sound right? Junior
yeah.
American murderer and longest serving prison inmate in the United States, paroled after 68 years, 296 days at the age of 86.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I heard he was a flight risk.
Yeah. Have you seen the preview for that movie?
No. Oh, yes. Yes, I have. With
Mark Wahlberg, I think, is in it.
Yeah.
And he's got like a, like a sort of the ring of hair. His hair is like balding and stuff. It looks pretty funny.
The May 8th, the first non-stop trans-North American balloon flight departs Fort Baker, California. Maxie Anderson and son Christian pilot the balloon for 5 days. I have a lot of questions.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious. I have so many questions. I can't even form them. But how did they have enough space in there for like all the stuff that they needed? How did they sleep? I'll stop. You can go.
No, right? Well, my mind immediately goes, how did they go to the bathroom?
Well, that one's easy. Just hang a cheek over the side, or in Christian's case, it's
much easier. Yeah. And the food.
Space peanut? What?
Like, I mean, you could put a cooler in there, but that's not going to last for 5 days.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
We'll have to dig up. We'll do an episode entirely on that.
Could write a script about it.
Yeah. Do you remember the movie with the guy who was in the lawn chair who had the weather balloons? And do you remember this?
The Up?
No. Well, there's that, but there's a. I think it's based on true events where a guy got a couple of like weather balloons from like a army surplus or something. He tied them to a lawn chair and had a case of beer, and then he like cut the lines, and the thing shot up like 20,000 feet. And he's just up there.
No way.
Like planes, and like they had I forget how they rescued him, but yeah, like and then they made a movie about it. That was more of like a comedy spoof.
Okay.
But I think it was based on actual events of this guy who launched himself into the atmosphere on a lawn chair with a case of beer.
That's awesome.
Well, I'll fact check that one for you, but I'm pretty sure that it's a real thing. So,
in the next episode of Latch-Key Dads, maybe we can interview that guy.
Yeah,
let's see if we can get a hold of him.
Definitely,
if it's true. If it's not true, we'll just.
You can interview. I'll interview you, and you can tell me about it.
Yeah, there you
go. All right, so back to May of 1980. On the 11th, the Philadelphia Phillies' Pete Rose deals second, third, and home in the same inning.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, Charlie Hustle was definitely a pretty amazing ball player.
Yeah.
And we just lost him this past year.
That's true. Yeah. I wonder if he'll get in.
I don't know. There's just there's just too many people on both sides of the fence of that argument that I don't know. I don't know if you're going to get enough voting, members of the Hall of Fame to flip the tide, but yeah. I mean, from a ball playing standpoint, he should 100% be in.
Yeah.
It's just the person that outside of the game that is so hard for people to accept.
Absolutely. So, yeah. May 15th, the Flyers score 8 goals against the Islanders in the playoffs.
That's pretty solid performance for our Philadelphia Flyers.
Pretty good.
Well,
yeah.
I put you in the category even though you're got your Devils jersey on. May 16th, the 34th NBA championships between the LA Lakers and the Philadelphia 76ers end with the Lakers beating the Sixers 4-2.
Boo.
Yeah.
Even I can say boo to that. May 17th, VS Kumar and sure.
Not going to work here anymore.
From Sri Lanka. All right, you ready for this, Tim? He balanced on one foot for 33 hours, a then Guinness World Record.
That's pretty amazing. I'm pretty sure I'd be in some serious pain after about an hour or two of just sitting on one foot.
I'm not sure I could do 33 seconds, let alone 33 hours.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It's amazing some of the weird stuff that people come up with to get in the Guinness book. And how do you find you have that talent? Like, was he a flamingo in a school play or something?
You're a great flamingo, Anandin. Let's get you.
Oh, that's funny. All right, so this one's pretty great. I love this this tie to our youth. May 22nd, video game Pac-Man is created by Toru Awatani. and it's first released in Japan.
Waka Waka.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that it's actually him in the movie Pixels.
Oh, really?
That appears. Have you seen it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So there's the scene. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. But when the pixels, the pixelated games, come to Earth.
Yeah.
And Pac-Man is sort of demolishing the city. Toru is standing there talking to Pac-Man like he's his child, and then it
That's so cool. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've got a lot of fact checking to do on this one, but yeah.
You open your mouth, you get some work.
I know, right?
Very cool. And this was a bad month of sports for Philadelphia. I'm sorry, everybody, but the Stanley Cup final in Nassau Coliseum has the New York Islanders beating the Philadelphia Flyers 5-4 in overtime to win 4-2.
Yeah, that's rough.
That is rough. Sorry, Philly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was lying on the green shag carpet in my parents' living room watching those games.
Yeah.
Lying flat, probably propping my head up with my, on my elbows. Just sad that the Flyers did not win. But yeah.
All right, I got one here for you, Tim.
Okay.
On May 29th, the 53rd National Spelling Bee champion was crowned Jacques Bailey.
Okay.
Now, I want to see if you can spell this word. All right.
Okay.
I don't even know if I can pronounce this word.
Okay, good chance I'm going to spell it then.
Elucibrate. Don't ask me for origin, definition, use it in a sentence. It's just elucibrate.
Okay, I'm going to spell it like I'm hooked on phonics. Eloosebrate. Elucibrate.
Correct. Nicely done. Well, if anybody cares, it is spelled Elucubrate.
Like I said.
Elucibrate.
I'm always shocked, some of the words and different, spellings of things. I mean, obviously, language is, English language is a conglomeration of all the different, languages
Greek, Latin,
of the world.
and
so,
French and all.
Yeah, the way that roots in certain words phonetically are, sound and then are spelled are so wildly different. So then rounding out the month on May 29th, well, actually, it's the same day as the spelling bee, May 29th.
Mm-hmm.
Larry Bird beat out Magic Johnson for the NBA Rookie of the Year.
Crazy.
Yeah. I'll watch old Bird clips and I'm like, you look at him sitting on the bench, you're like, that guy is not a good ball player. And then you see him play and his vision, his ability to pass and just drain shots from anywhere. I mean, he was truly an incredible ball player, but physically just looked like he was like a science teacher or something.
Yeah. And one of the best trash talkers in the game.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Well, those are some events that happened in 1980. We're looking at some movies now. Anything that pop out to you that you recall there?
Well, I mean, I'll take the first one. That it's the second on the list, but it was just a landmark movie. The sequel in the Star Wars trilogy was the Empire Strikes Back.
Probably, widely viewed as the best of all of the Star Wars movies. Amazing, right?
Yeah. It's amazing to me too, like how that franchise became what it became and has had the power to continue to just crank out more audiences that love it.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild, really.
Are you a big Star? You're like a medium Star Wars fan, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen every one of the major productions. I mean, I haven't watched the Clone
Wars and all the
cartoon stuff,
streaming
and all that.
ones. Yeah.
And now that Disney Plus has like a new series out every week, it seems like I watched The Mandalorian and a little bit of the Boba Fett one. I forget
the
what
Book of Fett.
Book of Boba.
Book of Boba.
Yeah.
See, I like Star Wars, but now all this extra stuff, I'm just like I can't really get into. Even though I did see Obi-Wan.
Okay. Yeah.
Which was good.
Yeah.
That was pretty good because it was a short series. It was like 6 episodes. I like when they just say we're just gonna do one little, one short series and that's it. None of these things, because I think that even like The Mandalorian, I watched a little bit of. It was pretty good, but it just seems to drop off.
Yeah.
Really precipitously. So.
Yeah. But 45 years ago, Empire. It's pretty wild.
Very cool. Maybe we should do a movie review.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. We should definitely do that.
All right. Looking back on this list, now this I put because as a kid, it was one of the things we talk about with our generation and this generation is when something was on TV, you either saw it or you never saw it again.
Yeah.
And you never knew when it was going to come back. And one of those for me as a kid was the Rankin and Bass. It was The Hobbit.
Okay.
And then they had The Return of the King. And whenever they were on randomly and you happened to catch it, they were just like glued to the TV. And I absolutely loved them. The Gollum was the freakiest, scariest thing ever as a little kid. I mean, it was fantastic. I love those cartoons. And it was released, but I don't think it was released in the theaters. I don't know if it was a TV special. I don't know why the movie, it was listed the way it was, but it was theirs. And I wanted to say, it was awesome.
Yeah. And that'll be another one that I'll have to put on the list for me. I never saw.
Oh, you haven't?
No, I never saw them.
No, oh, wow. Those are fun. We should watch them because they're not long.
Okay.
Yeah, they're very condensed, unlike the movies, which are epics. You can watch them in an afternoon.
Yeah. Peter Jackson was not involved in those, I guess.
No.
Let's see what else is on here. I remember watching The Gong Show. I didn't know they made a movie of it though.
I didn't either. I was like, really? It made $6 million somehow.
I remember watching the TV show Fame, but I didn't know they made a movie. I mean, I know they've made a movie of it more recently, but I didn't know there was one back in the 80s. Yeah,
that was isn't it? I mean, I don't remember there being a TV show.
I don't know, maybe I'm confused.
I don't. Again, this was before we kind of really.
Yeah, that's true. We were pretty young when this was out, but yeah.
It was the song. Sing it, Tim.
Fame, I'm gonna live forever.
There you go.
Something
People
like
dancing
that.
around. I don't know. It was before my time. Friday the 13th, we've discussed before, was released May of 1980, and I didn't realize this. It made $60 million. That's like such a low budget, low budget horror movie. That's impressive.
Yeah.
People must have been just looking for something, like that just filled the void of a scary movie.
Well, I know we've talked about this before, but the Movies That Made Us series that, goes through the horror films that, Movies That Made Us, obviously, and how Halloween was shot on a pretty low budget. And then that sort of started this whole, genre. And Friday the 13th was one of the ones that sort of picked up on that and was able to do a pretty low budget film that just had an amazing, reaction from a public standpoint and did really well. But the making of it too was pretty interesting in that they were using all these techniques to create, blood and everything that hadn't really been done in a very realistic sort of way before. And so, like, I might have mentioned this, but they were using photographic developing fluid because of its viscosity.
Oh, that's safe.
And just, exactly. And mixing it with like dyes and things. And it really had a blood, quality. Okay. But then like one of the actors, they had there's a part where like it's up by his face and they had this patch.
I think an arrow, right?
Yeah.
Was that
So the patch was supposed to pop with the blood going out, but obviously it didn't do that. And it got behind, it got in his eye and nearly blinded him. And
oh my gosh.
And then one of the guys who was controlling like the pump for one of the other scenes, it failed. So he grabs the hose and just starts blowing into it. And then it obviously ingests a bunch of it. And there's like nothing there. So he runs down to the lake and is like rinsing his mouth out with lake water and like all these just wild things because it was so low budget. They just didn't have the money to do it in a safe way. So it was... And then you have, like Kevin Bacon is in it, and he goes on to have this, incredible career. Where, 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Great movie. And I watch. I know you mentioned it. I watched it not that long ago, and it for what it is, it's not bad. Yeah. Yeah.
I still think that the scene at the very end when Jason comes up out of the water, which obviously, if you haven't seen it, it's not what you now think of those films being that it's all about Jason. But like in slow motion, when you see him come out, it's like it's really ridiculous.
Yes, it is. And everybody always assumes that the hockey mask was there from the beginning, but I think the hockey mask didn't come out until the third.
Yeah, I think you're right about that
movie, but I don't know. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
Let's see. Was there anything else on there?
I think your all-time favorite movie is on this list.
That's right. This is a film that has come up many times. I talked about that I recently read the book, and that was The Shining.
Great movie.
Yeah, it was a great movie.
Yeah.
And again, we lost Shelley Duvall this past year.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
But Jack's still kicking, still wild-eyed.
Still
and,
going strong.
I mean, obviously he hasn't been in a lot of films anytime recently, but he still kind of pops up here and there, just, basketball games and stuff like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's about all the movies there. There's nothing that great. Any TV shows that kind of, again, these are really before our time.
Well, I do remember, I don't think we watched, well, maybe we watched it when it was actually on, but at 5, I mean, honestly, I don't remember watching a ton of television. There just wasn't a lot, to choose from, but Little House on the Prairie was on a Monday night.
Okay.
I don't know that we watched it. I feel like it was more in like syndication.
Yeah.
When my sisters were, a little bit older, we would end up watching Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah.
And, for what it's worth, it was interesting.
I never seen an episode.
Really?
Never saw one episode. I mean, I've seen like half a second of it here, so I'm flipping the channels. But no, I don't know anything.
Well, it was Michael Landon's kind of like, I guess the role that kind of put him on the map, I would guess. And I don't know, there's something about like that primitive prairie life that, everyone, it's sort of Brady Bunch in a way where there'd be like this, scary thing happening. And then somehow they'd figure out a way to like not die. In the next episode, everything would seem like it was fine again. But
so smallpox never ran through the camp, is what you're saying?
There were some people that had really high fevers for a very long time.
Okay.
And there was a doctor in town who was always like had some
leeches.
Yeah, exactly. Eat this cookie, you'll be fine. But yeah, it was an interesting show.
All right. I saw this on there on Thursday night in May of 1980 was the Miss USA pageant.
Okay.
And the winner was a nice young lady by the name of Shawn Weatherly.
Okay.
Who would go on to be in Baywatch and Police Academy 3.
Okay.
So way to go,
Shawn
Weatherly.
Weatherly. Yeah. I do remember watching, again, it was probably more in syndication than when it was actually on, but Laverne and Shirley and Taxi.
Yeah.
I do remember watching those.
In syndication, yeah. Absolutely.
Fantasy Island, I know... I think I mentioned before that it always scared me. I would hide underneath the coffee table.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think the age that we were at, it just didn't stick as much as some of the other stuff.
Not at all.
Yeah.
If it wasn't the Muppets, I don't think I was watching it.
Seriously. Do you want to take a look at some music?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it.
So there's the album releases for 1980. Any of them pop out for you?
I mean, I know there was a fair amount of Peter Gabriel being played, back in the day. My dad was a big fan of him as well as Genesis. So
Diana was released. Kiss Unmasked. That was, again, before our time, but I know at the time that was a pretty big deal that they took off the makeup.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was that early on, like relatively speaking, in our lives anyway. I thought it was much later.
Yeah.
That actually was back in 80. Judas Priest, Breaking the Law. That I had a neighbor who was really into Judas Priest, who was a bunch of years older than us. And I just remember that, like, and my brother ended up getting into Judas Priest.
Yeah, mine too.
And,
yeah.
Yeah.
I just still do and all because of Beavis and Butthead. I mean, every couple months something will happen and I'll go, breaking the law.
100%.
Thank you, Mike Judge.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, other than that, like all the other bands that put out music, I mean, they're all household names, Devo, Kiss, Dead Kennedys, Elton John, Whitesnake, Alabama, Billy Squier. Like they're all musicians that we know. Not albums that were getting a lot of airplay when I was, in kindergarten. So.
Yeah, no. Well, what about the top 10? What if we looked at the top 10 and do a little countdown and see how much we remember?
All right.
Number 10, Ambrosia with The Biggest Part of Me.
I only know ambrosia as like a salad that my aunt makes with like cottage cheese and marshmallows.
Yeah, marshmallows.
Orange Jello and something else. Yeah. Another Brick in the Wall, Part 2, Pink Floyd, obviously.
Yeah. This one, love our love ballads here. We have Don't Fall in Love with a Dreamer by Kenny Rogers with Kim Carnes.
I know if I heard that, I would know it.
Yeah.
But if you asked me to sing it right now, I couldn't do it for you guys.
Sing it right now, Tim.
I could just say those words with the melody, but I don't know what the melody is.
Quick, AI, come up with a song.
Do you know it?
I don't know that. No, sorry.
All right. Billy Joel, You May Be Right.
I know that one.
Yeah.
Of course.
Go ahead, sing it.
You may be right. Oh, wait, how does the melody go? Oh, my gosh, I just blanked. For all I know, you may be crazy. There you go. How about Sexy Eyes by Dr. Hook? Nope.
Nothing on that one.
No.
With You, I'm Born Again by Billy Preston and Cyrita?
Sure.
Question mark?
Cyrita? I don't know.
I don't know that one.
Yep. Number 4, I think this song comes up all the time, Funky Town.
Yeah.
But this was the version by Lips Incorporated. Because isn't there 2 versions? There's 2.
Well, then there's like the remake of it that's a little more like sort of poppy.
Yeah. Okay.
Air Supply, Lost in Love.
Yeah. And how about Christopher Cross, Ride Like the Wind?
I'm pretty sure that's the So I Ride Like the Wind.
Yeah.
Ride like the wind. 'Cause I've got such a long way to go. I'll just keep going.
There you go.
Anyway, and then topping the charts, Blondie with Call Me.
I was just listening to Blondie the other day.
Oh,
So
yeah?
that was cool. I'm like, yeah, Blondie rocked.
Nice. All right. Well, that's a pretty decent collection of music and movies. But I mean, I think, again, and we touched on this a couple times, we were just a little young for a lot of this stuff. Yeah. But I think Empire being, a big part of the 45 years, I think we definitely need to come back around to that and take a look through it with a fine-tooth comb and do a little review.
I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, Tim.
Hey, Greg.
I know it's been a while, but I think we need to do a report card.
I think so. I made a few mentions early on, and I think we need to actually give the people what they want, which is the information about these important details.
We have to report on the 80s properly.
That's
so
right.
What you got?
So I did a little digging, and I was pretty sure that the Pixels movie included the original creator, and Toru Iwatani is, in fact, in the Pixels movie. And Pixels does have a ton of little Easter eggs in the film. So if you're a fan of video games from the 80s and all that, I definitely recommend checking out Pixels. It's a pretty cool movie.
I might have to go rewatch it because it's been a long time since I've seen it. So.
Yeah.
Very cool. And I did look at why was Pink Floyd's Another Brick in the Wall Part 2 banned in South Africa, and it's much more interesting than I thought.
Okay.
It became a rallying cry for people of South Africa boycotting the apartheid that was currently going on in South Africa.
Wow.
And so it was the song was huge, and they were using it again to protest the separation, and that's why they banned it.
Wow.
Kind of interesting.
Wow. Yeah. So I also mentioned the guy who put weather balloons on a lawn chair and launched himself into space. So this was in fact true.
Okay.
The guy's name was Larry Walters. This happened on July of 1982.
Wow.
And apparently he got this idea when he was 13 years old. He was in like a store that had some weather balloons, and he had he always wanted to fly. And
sure.
He hooked up a bunch of these. They call it cluster ballooning. Apparently this is a thing now that people do. And you can get in trouble for doing it, so I don't recommend it. But yeah, he ended up going 16,000 feet up into the air on a lawn chair with a pellet gun, and his plan was to float over the Mojave Desert and then shoot some of the balloons down with his pellet gun. But he started going out into airspace, and so then he started shooting down some of the balloons. He ended up dropping the pellet gun, so just was sort of at the mercy of the balloons floating down. And he ended up landing in an area where he got tangled in some electrical wires. Didn't get harmed, though. He was able to survive that and then was arrested. So
the fact that he didn't die is quite astonishing.
Pretty amazing. And then they, of course, made a Hollywood movie version of it.
Yeah.
It was called Danny Deck Chair. And if you're looking for a silly movie to watch, check out Danny Deck Chair.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And finally, for me, the definition of elucibrate means to express oneself carefully and thoughtfully, often in writing, by putting effort into crafting one's thoughts and ideas.
I'm going to go do that right now.
Okay.
All right. Awesome.
All right. Well done.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
We haven't given ourselves a grade in a while. What do you think?
What's our GPA at this point? We got to...
I think it's above a 4.0, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. I mean, is this an AP class? Do we get extra?
We get extra. Yeah, definitely.
I'm thinking an A.
Yeah. Just bring it back to like,
baseline.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, cool.
All right.
Can't get enough Latch-Key Dad content? Well, check out latchkeydads.com.
That's right, Greg. On our website, we've got a plethora of photos from each episode, as well as other interesting links to content that we talk about on the show.
Yeah, Tim, I really enjoy all the pictures that you put up there, as they really bring the episode home.
Yeah, I guess I'm not afraid to show those embarrassing photos of my childhood. So, yeah, we encourage you to check out the website, latchkeydads.com, for all that content.
Excellent. And if you have a moment, check out our shop page where we've got really cool keychains for sale. If you don't know what to get your dad for Christmas, the holidays, Father's Day, birthday, check it out. It's a cool gift. Tim, did you know that listeners should like, review, and subscribe to the Latch-Key Dads podcast?
No. But now I know.
No,
Now he's out the battle.